From Learfield on the Mustangs Sports Network, live from Humperdinck's on Greenville Avenue, this is the Fast Track with Tim Jankovich. Brought to you by Humperdinck's on Greenville Avenue with daily food and drink specials. Join the MVP Club today. NTTA. Save money on North Texas toll roads with an SMU toll tag. Nissan. Proud supporter of college athletics. Shop ChooseNissan.com. Innovation that excites. Albertsons and Tom Thumb. Proud sponsors of SMU Athletics. And by Credit Union of Texas. Be a part of something unexpected. CUTX.org. Experience more. Here is your host, Rich Phillips.
Hey, good evening. Welcome to Humperdinck's on Greenville in Dallas. Seems like we were just here. We were about 2 months ago, month and a half ago, when we had Chad Morris here. And now it's Tim Jankovich, the SMU head coach, with us here for the Fast Track for the next 10 weeks. Talking SMU basketball. Hello and welcome, Coach. How are you?
I'm doing great. Did you hear as soon as they said your name, everybody started clapping?
I know, it's amazing.
Isn't it? You're big around here, for gosh sakes.
Does real well when I raise my hands up over my head and clap.
The applause sign helps.
Everybody has learned that that's the way it's supposed to work. Well, we are going to be here at Humperdinck's on Greenville and Dallas for the next 10 weeks, talking SMU basketball all throughout our conference schedule this season, as the SMU Mustangs are into conference play with a 2-0 start. Wins last week at Memphis and at East Carolina. Conference play continues Wednesday and Saturday. This week at home, the Temple Owls, an 8 o'clock start at Moody Coliseum Wednesday evening, and then Saturday afternoon at 4 o'clock, South Florida will be there. 214 SMU game or SMUMustangs.com for your tickets. But we'll talk a little bit about those two conference games coming up here shortly, Coach. I thought we'd start out just since we're, halfway through the schedule. Really? Halfway already?
Well, not quite, and it needs to be not nearly halfway. Hopefully, hopefully
true. That's
we're going
to
add a bunch of games.
That's right.
But if you're doing your math at home, we're not halfway. Okay, halfway would be the next game if you're really.
Are we 31, 32?
31 scheduled games plus a conference tournament guaranteed game. Beyond that, we're not guaranteed anything, but we're hopefully working towards it.
Well, we're working towards it with an 8-game winning streak and a 12-3 record, and I thought we would first just start off looking at the first couple months of the season. Obviously, the last month plus has gone quite well with 8 straight wins. What's your assessment overall here of the team in the first 15 games?
Our assessment is we really, really, really like December. Okay, yeah. That's a good month. I was sad to turn the page on that one. November, not as much, but the big thing that you try to do with any season, with any team, is you try to get better. That's really wherever you start, you just want to keep getting better and better and better, and hopefully you're playing your best at the end of the season, and you're the toughest out come tournament time. And we have definitely made big strides. I think anyone that's watched us can see that the team is really coming together and just kind of finding themselves and kind of getting an identity, and it's really become fun, and we've had a great month.
What was the difference from November when you were 4-3 to December when you've gone 8-0?
Well, a little bit of it is we played at USC, we played Michigan, we played Pitt, we played, so the schedule was very, very difficult, and you're talking about with a team with only 4 guys back and no point guard back and, all those kind of things. So, we're starting at a spot that's pretty, challenging to begin with, and then you throw those kind of games at us at the very beginning. So I don't think it's as simple as just looking at a record and say whether you're winning or losing. But, something that's happened is we're kind of figuring our team out. They're figuring each other out. We've definitely tweaked some things that we've done, and it seems to be working, and confidence is building. That's one of the. If you can only have one thing, it's confidence. If you could just pick one thing to start with, if your players believe they're supposed to win, should win, are the better team, then I don't know if there's anything more important than that. And definitely, I think we're a very confident team right now.
How much different is the style of play you have for the team from the start to now, especially given the numbers that have dwindled for you here in the last few weeks?
Well, partly because of when Harry decided to transfer, we kind of we were sort of in between at the time, because we had, as I've said many times, we kind of got a bunch of medium guys, and I mean that in a real positive way, medium-sized guys. Everybody's kind of the same interchangeable parts, and then we had then we had Harry, who was a very big guy and maybe different athletically, and so we were trying to fit the two together. Since the time he left, it kind of allowed us to go full throttle with the way we're playing now, which is more of a spread game and interchangeable parts. We weren't having to kind of flip the switch back and forth on substitutions, and so and defensively it's made us better because we're very athletic and again we're interchangeable. So from that point on, it allowed us to be more of a spread floor offensive team, and from the defensive side of things, we've really improved. We've always been an outstanding rebounding team from day one, so it's just kind of all come together for us.
You mentioned right off the top, the team with only 4 guys back, no point guard. Obviously, Nick Moore not part of this team. I think you have. You've altered a lot that point guard position from where you started. Shake was the primary ball handler, Shake Milton, at the start of the season, but we see a little bit of everybody because of those interchangeable parts up top.
Yes, and Shake has done a fantastic job, and in fact, he's getting better and better. If we just made him be the all-time point guard, I think he would do a fantastic job. The problem, and it's a good problem, is he's awfully good off the ball too. He's such a good shooter, good scorer. We're trying to get him off, and then what we're finding is we just have a whole bunch of guys that can play the point, and we're just sort of letting them rotate in and around, and we're also looking for the matchup of the other team, and maybe a guy that doesn't pressure the ball quite as much. Well, his man may start bringing it up, but a lot of the things we do, the point guard's job is really just to start it anyway. It's just get us the first pass, and we got a whole bunch of guys that can make a first pass, and that gets us into what I guess we would call a flow game. And from that point on, you don't need a point guard. Now, you talk about Nick. Nick was a guy that just naturally grew up his whole life making plays for others and making everybody around him better. And when you don't have someone that's maybe had that personality their whole life, we've got a bunch of guys that maybe were scorers in high school or whatever, and they weren't responsible for setting their teammates up. That's what we're seeing offensively. I think they're just getting better and better. And I think, what are we, just at the beginning of January right now? Happy New Year to everyone, by the way. But I think that they're continuing and will continue to learn to make plays for each other and make each other look better. And when you really do that as a team, then you're a very, very good offensive team.
What's been the most surprising thing you've seen in the first 15 games?
Most surprising is our rebounding margin. I've coached, I won't even tell you how long I've coached, but forever, since the beginning of time. It feels like I've coached college basketball, and I've never, ever been with a better rebounding team than this team. They amaze me. It's something that we emphasize. Our staff, who many of them are here, appreciate you guys coming out. I'm surprised they're not just completely sick and tired of listening to me, which I'm sure they are, but they just want a great meal. But
they came to listen to me. Anyway, is probably what it is.
Anyway, well, for sure. They were clapping really loud when they said your name at the beginning. They were going almost standing ovation. Anyway, where was I? I'm talking about these guys.
The rebounding margin.
Oh, yeah, I've never seen a team rebound more. We talk about it all the time. We emphasize it as something that we chart, but our guys have bought into it to the 100th degree, and it's blowing my mind, and it's every single night, and we talk about it all the time. So that's been the most surprise. We thought we could be a good rebounding team, but right now we're as good as I've been around.
Yeah, the margin is plus 12.7 rebounds per game. That is 5th best in the nation, and I'm going to bet most of the other 4 teams ahead of you have somebody taller than 6'8" that rebounds the basketball.
Yeah, and we have one. We
exactly.
have one at 6'8", and I will say, in fairness, where we don't have the real big size up front, we do have big guards. So, maybe we're obviously gaining some there, but rebounding is not nearly as much of how tall you are as really how competitive you are, I think, how hard you play, and that's what we told our guys from day one. This is like a meter to show how hard you play. It's one of the ways we can measure how hard you play, and when you're rebounding and dominating rebounds, we've dominated, including going on the road now and dominated the boards, not just won the boards, but by crazy numbers. 19 rebounds, I think, at Memphis. I think we out-rebounded them 19 at Memphis, which is just blows my mind. And then the other night was a 20-something. And when you're able to do that, for a fact that your guys are cut in on the competitive line for sure. You're checking that one.
And this is the Fast Track with Tim Jankovich. I am Rich Phillips. We're going to be here every Monday night for the next 10 weeks here at Humperdinck's on Greenville and Dallas. And later in the show, we'll have the Ask the Coach segment where fans can ask questions of the coach. You can submit those on SMUMustangs.com by hitting the Ask the Coach button. You can submit them on Twitter using the hashtag of AskTim, or you can join us live in person each week at Humperdinck's on Greenville from 7 to 8, and we'll have some time for questions from our live audience as well. Well, it is conference play already. 2 games in. We'll look back at those 2 games with the coach coming up next here on the Fast Track with Tim Jankovich.
Ruthie's Rolling Cafe, serving up the best grilled cheese in Texas. For 4 years in a row, Ruthie's has been voted the best food truck of SMU and Park Cities. Ruthie's is a crowd favorite among the ponies. You can find the food trucks rolling on SMU campus, SMU home games, and you can find them regularly at Clyde Warren Park. To book Ruthie's for a private party, visit their site at ruthiesfoodtrucks.com. Because after all, there ain't no party like a grilled cheese party. So, seize the cheese.
The Century 21 brand has become synonymous with one name, Mike Bowman, honorably distinguished to retain the #1 office in the world in closed transactions. Not just once or twice, but an astounding 16 times. And they continue to be a proud supporter of the SMU Mustangs. Discover for yourself how the dedicated team at Century 21, Mike Bowman, can make your real estate transaction the best you will ever experience at c21bowman.com.
Go coast to coast with the versatile 2017 Nissan Rogue. Display some fancy footwork with available intelligent all-wheel drive. And go for 3 with an available 3rd row for seating up to 7. So next time you show up to support your team on the court, bring your A game and show up in a Rogue. Take on game day. Get to Nissan, proud partner of the SMU Mustangs.
If you're an SMU fan, you bring your game face to the game. But if you're an SMU super fan, your car brings its game face too. By wearing an official red and blue SMU toll tag. Because super fans know nothing says you pony up everywhere you drive like an NTTA SMU toll tag, just $19.99. To get yours, stop by SMU Parking and ID Services or any toll tag store location. The North Texas Toll Tag Authority. Get there smarter.
Hey SMU fans, it's never too late to score delicious pizza with Papa John's 8 after 8 deal. All through SMU basketball season, you can get a large 3-topping pizza for only $8 after 8 p.m. Great for game night or any night. Order online at papajohns.com with promo code 8 after 8. Pony up.
Better ingredients, better pizza. Papa John's, official sponsor of SMU Athletics.
Not valid with other discounts, prices, participation, and delivery area may vary. Taxes and fees extra.
Are you serving or have served our country? SMU's Lyle School of Engineering offers master's programs and tuition reductions for military personnel across the globe. For veterans and those in the uniformed services of the U.S., our distance education programs provide a way to help engineer our nation's future. It's just one way SMU is saying thank you to those who protect and serve our country. Check it out at lyle.smu.edu.
Welcome back to the Fast Track with Tim Jankovich. I'm Rich Phillips. Every Monday night, 7 to 8 here at Humperdinck's on Greenville and Dallas. Each week, we'll look back at the previous week's action on our game review, brought to you by SMU's Lyle School of Engineering, offering master's programs through on-campus and distance education options, with tuition reductions available for military personnel across the globe. Check it out at lyle.smu.edu. So last week, 2 games to begin conference play, both on the road. Thank you very much to start on the road. And we were the feature attraction, I guess, to start the league, because the first game period was the only game on Tuesday night. SMU playing at Memphis, and that was a 58-54 win. And if nothing else, that made sure everybody was aware conference play is a little bit of a different animal, because that was a rough and tumble game, I felt, all night. Between 2 teams, by the way, that are similar. They're very short-handed, too. They played 6 guys until the last 4 minutes of the game, so we couldn't complain about lack of bench on Tuesday night.
That's exactly right. You know, the conference schedule set up a little difficult for us when you start 2 on the road and your first one is at Memphis. So at first sight, you know, when it came out, you're like, oh my gosh, we're gonna lead off at Memphis, and then we're gonna go on the road again. And the deck is a little bit stacked against you. But I've been doing this long enough that a lot of times those are opportunities, to start off. And if you're playing well, you get a jump start. And we were fortunate to have a great night that night. I thought it was an outstanding game against a very talented team, not a deep team, much like ourselves, like you said. And, in some ways we're looking in the mirror a little bit and just so happy, so proud that we played very well and got a tough victory on the road to start out conference.
We talked about this a little bit in the first segment. You mentioned it. 19 was the rebound margin in that game, and even though we didn't have a whole lot of second chance points, the 19 rebounds on the margin, but also 15 offensive rebounds, that just that cuts down the lack of the number of possessions for your opponent because we kept having the ball so long at the other end.
So, I don't know, time of possession, we probably won that because we keep getting the ball back. But we've been chasing them down all year, and probably on the road it's even more important to do that, obviously, to control the ball, to get extra shots. I mean, there's two ways to get extra shots. You get offensive rebounds. That gives you more shots than your opponent. The other way is you win the turnovers. If you're turning it over all the time, obviously you don't get a shot. So rebounding is always such a very, very important part of winning in the long run, and our guys have really bought into that, and we've been dominant in that area.
There was another double-double in that game, too, for Shimi Ojale with 17 points and 11 rebounds. I continue to be impressed with the efficiency quite often of his offensive game. 9 shots he takes to score 17 points in the game.
Yeah, well, it's not a surprise when you're around Shimi on a daily basis as we are. He basically just lives in the gym. So it's not a coincidence that he's really, really efficient, because the reason he's efficient is because he can shoot the heck out of the ball, and he's been practicing, and his confidence is high. Not sure we've had a guy here this is going on year 5 that we've been here. I'm sure we have not had a guy that has spent more hours in the gym outside of practice time than Shimmy. So whatever he gets, he deserves. He is a very, very dedicated, disciplined, hard-working guy, and a heck of a talent.
And then when you see Friday night what that Memphis team did against South Carolina, that's got to make you feel a little bit better even about your win.
Well, you know what? We felt darn good anyway. Okay, we didn't care how they did against South Carolina, but it does put a little bit of an exclamation mark. We all, I don't think anyone on our staff, we all felt like they would. Now, there might have been one. There might have been one that said that they wouldn't win, but most of us thought that they would. They're a talented team. The two brothers up front are, speaking of rebounding, this makes our rebounding even more impressive. The number one duo in America in rebounding are the Lawson brothers at Memphis. And so, on paper, you feel like, well, we're going up against one of the best rebounding teams in America, definitely the best tandem, and to out-rebound them 19. So they are talented. The one guy offensively is, if he's not an NBA offensive player, I don't know who is.
Yeah, so, Diedrich.
Yes, and so, again, great win for us.
By the way, those two Lawson brothers combined for just 13 rebounds in that game on Tuesday night. Then Saturday afternoon, you go on New Year's Eve to Greenville, North Carolina. You face an East Carolina team who was 8-1 at home going into that game, and that was 75-44. That's about as good as I think in a lot of areas the team could play. That was a terrific effort up and down the floor.
Well, first it was just, if you're going to be anywhere on New Year's Eve, by gosh, I think Greenville, North Carolina has got to be up there.
Is that better than having the team in New York, you're saying?
Oh, it's right there. It's right there. So, we were focused, to say the least. We all got in bed early. There was a party going on that kept some of us up. Didn't appreciate that. I think East Carolina put that party on, to be honest with you. But we felt confident and all those things. We've been playing well. We've been practicing well. But to get away from a team on the road like that was, that was surprising for all of us. And it's feeling good. As I say, our confidence is growing, but not often can you go on the road in the league and get away from somebody 20, let alone 30. And it was just a great day. A lot of guys played well, and a lot of things are coming together.
Yeah, and rebounding, we continue to talk so much about. You had 2 guys with 11, and you had 4 guys that had 8 or more in that game. Again, a collective effort to do it, rebounding, even with 2 guys.
The era of the star system, movie tycoons, gigantic studios, and glamorous film premieres. That was the golden age of the silver screen. And songs from the films of that era are in the spotlight for a special hour each week here on KAAM. This is Ray Van Steen, your host, hoping you'll listen in to Hooray for Hollywood, Wednesday evenings.
Okay.
Welcome back to the Fast Track with Tim Jankovich. I am Rich Phillips, your host every week here, Mondays 7 to 8 at Humperdinck's on Greenville in Dallas. Come see us out here or tune us in on 770 KAAM. The show is presented in part by the Sewell Automotive Companies. Visit Sewell.com to see the showcase of 9 premier luxury automotive marks. Sewell Automotive Companies, obsessed with service since 1911. Well, of course, Tim, you've been here the last 4 years as associate head coach for Larry Brown and did coach the team for the first 9 games of last season. Now, as you took over in the summer and going into fall practices, tell us about some of the things you're doing differently with the team than was done here before.
Doing a lot more radio shows. For us. That's one.
But you only have done one more radio show so far.
That's true. That's a lot.
That's one more. You're 100% more.
Yeah. I don't even know. It's infinitely more.
Yes.
The 0 is a tough number to deal with.
That's correct.
Well, in some ways, much the same, obviously, but there is a big difference between when you're the voice, when you're the one doing the most talking, when you're the one that makes the decisions as opposed to suggestions or whatever. But for me, it doesn't feel that much different, to be honest with you. One thing I really do enjoy, one facet I enjoy, a lot of being in a head position. I like recruiting from a head coaching position better even than when I was an assistant coach, just because it's you're talking to them about playing for you, and I think that's easier to do always. And I also, from the, creative side, and I know you talk to our staff, they've got lots of ideas, and sometimes the head coach says, that's a great one, and sometimes the head coach says, I don't want to do that. So, it's fun when you get to, and, obviously before I came here at Illinois State, I was pretty used to that, when whatever you think you can go ahead and do, and sometimes you wish you hadn't done them because it maybe didn't work so well. But at least, there's that creative element that you're always allowed to do. So I think those are probably the 2 biggest areas of change, probably. You
did come here from a head coaching job, you mentioned, at Illinois State. How hard was it to do that, to give that up and be kind of the head coach in waiting coming here to SMU?
Well, it was incredibly difficult. One of the hardest. It was the hardest decision that I can ever remember making in my life, and literally it took a couple weeks, and I'm not joking, I was physically ill for about 3 or 4 of those days. It was just, because on one hand I saw the big picture and the long run, and I knew that I wanted to be here. I knew what could be at SMU. I knew what a great school, what a great city, what potential SMU would have, and so I knew that in the long run I wanted to be here. But at the same time, I had a great situation. I had an outstanding team coming back, every single person, including Nick Moore, returning. John Eakey is on our staff as a grad assistant. He was an outstanding player. We had what we felt, and we would argue that we felt like we had a top 25 team coming back, and some outstanding young men. So to leave them was really one of the most painful things that I've done. So I was very torn, and also, to just like willingly, most of the time when someone goes from a head coaching position to an assistant, they didn't do it on purpose.
Right. It wasn't their choice.
No, they didn't choose it. So I think that doesn't happen very often. I don't know if I invented it or not, but it's been great. Coach Brown was tremendous to me. But at the same time, it is a big adjustment. So I would be lying if I said I didn't, have to really adjust, and I tried to do my best to do that.
How much did it was only 9 games last year, but the 9 games help you with, you only got 4 guys back, but help you with those guys and kind of reinvigorate you a little bit in that head coaching position?
Well, I think the one there was a lot of. I wish it never happened because for the reasons it happened, it was awful and it was painful, and I still to this day and to the day I die will feel so badly for our team. But for me, it was the one little positive was like, I just want to make sure I remember how to do this, because it's been a few years and I didn't know whether it would feel foreign or if it felt like, I was the head coach last year, and honestly it felt like I had not stopped being a head coach. But I think the biggest benefit probably was to the 4 returning players and to the 2 that had been sitting out, Shimmy and Benny Malagu, that they would at least know what to expect with a coaching change. If I had never actually been in that position, they probably they probably would have been a little bit more skeptical, and of course things happen in the summer and all that, so maybe there was a tiny bit of a silver lining, but if I had my choice, I would rather have none of that had ever happened.
Yeah, even as it was, just because you'd been here the whole time, it had to help make it as seamless, I guess, as a transition as it could have been
and that's
coming
what
into
I'm
this
saying.
year.
Yeah, exactly. So they would have confidence to know what the future would hold, as opposed to we have no idea what this guy's going to be about or how we're going to be coached or what we're going to do or anything like that. So that's what I'm saying. I think probably there was a tiny piece of positive out of it, but it wasn't close to the negative. It could never outweigh that.
This is the Fast Track with Tim Jankovich as we talk SMU basketball here every Monday night from 7 to 8 at Humperdinck's on Greenville in Dallas and on 770 KAAM. And coming up next, it'll be our Ask the Coach segment. We got a few questions from some fans submitted online. We'll do those next here on the Fast Track with Tim Jankovich.
Maggiano's Little Italy specializes in serving lavish portions of authentic Italian-American cuisine. The menu is large and varied, offering homemade pastas, signature salads, prime steaks, fresh fish, and memorable desserts. Maggiano's Little Italy treats you like you've been going there forever, even on your first visit. Not only do they have incredible lunches and dinners, they're also a perfect choice for a banquet of any size. Come as you are for lunch and dinner 7 days a week. We're a time worth having. At Maggiano's Little Italy, you get more of everything. Maggiano's is located at North Park Mall in Dallas.
Business is a game, and if you want to win, you have to be faster, smarter, and more focused than the competition. Which is why SMU Cox offers the Fast Track 1-year MBA, designed to launch your career in just 12 months. Learn from world-class faculty, study with driven peers, and connect to a global alumni network spanning 80 countries. The Fast Track 1-year MBA, a major career highlight, only from SMU Cox. More online at coxgrad.com.
You need to plan that important campus celebration this year, and you want to plan a truly memorable party without going over budget. One call to the rental experts at M&M Event Rentals will quickly ease your event anxiety as you learn about renting a tent, tables, chairs and linen, and even custom SMU centerpieces, all from one company with decades of experience and professionalism. Visit them online at mmspecialevents.com and like them on Facebook to see some wonderful ways they can enrich your alumni celebrations.
Nothing works up an appetite more than a nail-biting, on the edge of your seat, fan-roaring Mustang basketball game. So after we swish that buzzer-beating shot, swing by Ruth's Chris for our 3-course menu, starting at just $44.95. Enjoy a complete meal that includes a starter, delicious entree, personal side dish, and, of course, some decadent dessert. Eat like a winner tonight and make your Ruth's reservation at our North Dallas location or in our new spot in Uptown at Cedar Springs and Harwood.
Go coast to coast with the versatile 2017 Nissan Rogue. Display some fancy footwork with available intelligent all-wheel drive. And go for 3 with an available third row for seating up to 7. So next time you show up to support your team on the court, bring your A game and show up in a Rogue. Take on game day. Get to Nissan, proud partner of the SMU Mustangs.
We all know air travel can be draining. Let Wind Transportation make your travel more pleasurable when you're on the ground. Departure or arrival, Wind delivers no-worry service. It's about time to spare when you're departing, and being right there to pick you up when you arrive. We monitor all incoming flights and we're prepared should unexpected flight changes occur. For an individual or multi-flight groups, Wynn will make the experience great. Your time and your experience is our passion. Visit GoWin.com to book. That's GOWYNNE.com.
Welcome back to the Fast Track with Tim Jankovich, Rich Phillips, and the SMU Mustangs basketball coach. You'll be here every Monday night, 7 to 8 at Humperdinck's on Greenville and Dallas. The Fast Track is presented by the Credit Union of Texas. Credit Union of Texas was founded in 1931. CUTX is proud to be your financial partner on and off the court. Experience more at CUTX.org. Credit Union of Texas, a proud partner of SMU Mustangs basketball. Each week, fans can have a chance to ask questions of head coach Tim Jankovich. You can submit your questions online at SMUMustangs.com and hit the Ask the Coach button. Also, send them in on Twitter with the hashtag of AskTim. We're going to start off with Ted in Plano, who asked a question that I get asked quite often, too. Why is it that you have 8 coaches, including yourself, sitting next to each other on the bench during games instead of having the players closer to the actual game coaches?
I don't know. Do you think we should intermingle them every other?
I don't
every
know.
Other one?
I don't know. Maybe.
We have a big staff. How's that for an answer?
Well, I can tell you this right now. We have about the same number of suits as we do uniforms on the bench, right?
Thank you for pointing that out. Thank you. We like to get hands-on. A lot of hands-on. That's what we like to do, but. I don't know. I just that's where everyone wants to sit. We don't really have a seating chart. So
you don't have assigned seats then?
No, not assigned seats. It's more like Southwest Airlines a little bit.
So if you get there, somebody gets there early, they could sit up by you if they wanted to.
Absolutely, and if they pay enough, you get priority boarding.
Sure.
I tell you that right
now. Well, I mean, the thing about it is, it's not like if you need to talk to one of the players, it's not like they're too far away and you're not going to.
Why would we ever want to talk to the players, for gosh? No, but we only got a couple. Only a few of them sitting there, for gosh sake. No.
True.
No, we have plenty of communication. We're good in that area, so I feel good about that.
Is there not a designated order for where your coaches sit?
Well, yeah, I guess there.
Because Yogi always sits by me. I know that. He
likes
right
you.
By us.
Yogi likes you. Yogi likes you.
It's position 1.
Yeah, no, it's it's you're putting way more thought into this. We're all just we just sit down and we talk to each other during the game, and we talk to the players as well. So it's not a real crucial thing for us. But thanks, Ted, for noticing.
Yeah, Ted.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you, Ted.
Wondering.
Yes. Ted in Plano, and we appreciate you very much.
Tom in Dallas asked, Coach, with both of the Aussies now leaving midseason, does this change strategies in recruiting? Do you not look at Australian players much, or do you still try to keep those ties going there?
No, I think we're just going to keep going, 25 times and have it. No, we've probably not. Probably not. I can't say that for sure, but, when guys, maybe their expectations of what a freshman year looks like here compared to maybe what they thought, and particularly we have some very good players, and you got to kind of work your way into that, and maybe their expectations were obviously different. Never because we had said, otherwise. We never promised anyone playing time or anything like that, but sometimes those things happen. It happens 700 times a year right now. There's 700 transfers, and we live in a time, and in some ways I'm not even critical of it, because I will say this, that kids only have one little window of a career, and so if you find yourself in a situation where you think time is just going to pass you by, then I don't think it's too unhealthy. Basketball is really, really, really important to a lot of guys. It's important to the 2 guys that left our team. It's important to them, and they got here and realized, well, maybe this is not going to go quite as planned, and so I need to go somewhere where it allows me to have, anything reasonably like the career that I was hoping to have. And I think that's what's going on around the country. I think it's, it's just more widely accepted. I actually think it's healthy in a lot of ways. I don't think it's a total negative. I think the NCAA sometimes has felt like it is, but you know what? If they were playing in college and they found themselves the 10th, 11th man and not playing, I'll bet they'd want to transfer too. And so, you look at it on the other end. Look at it transfers that come to our place. You know, Nick Moore and Jordan Tolbert and
Marcus.
Shimmy and Marcus, and I mean, look at what transferring has done for us.
Sure.
And so, believe me, we've come out on the plus side of transferring without question. And so I'm not, you know, I think a lot of those things are actually positive for everyone involved.
Does it make you self-evaluate for a moment to make sure you didn't do something that maybe was that he wasn't in favor, or you just move on from it and keep plugging ahead?
No, because we're never wrong, basically.
Sure,
we're never wrong. So there's no reason for anything like self-evaluation or anything like that. That's it. No, of course you would always do that, but in this case it was pretty cut and dry. You know, that was, I mean, from what they were, you know, told us that they just, you know, they really wanted to play a lot more. They didn't see that you know, the kind of minutes that they hoped for. So in this case, it was maybe not as much as sometimes. There are other situations over the, you know, my coaching lifetime when certainly put a lot more thought into it. Like, gosh, how could this happen? Because this, you know, I don't think this was even a good decision to leave. In this case, I think it probably was a good decision for both of them, honestly, in the long run. So I think it was pretty cut and dried.
And Ricardo sends in a question today. Back in the day, you used to play a lot of tennis at K-State. Many people don't know you were a great tennis player. I didn't know that. And he wants to know if you still find time to play much tennis.
I love tennis, yes, and I'm glad you brought that up because a number of people on our staff are here, and you know, I love our staff and all that, but they're soft. Our staff is soft. They don't play tennis.
Really?
Nobody else plays tennis, and
that makes you soft?
Well, in my eyes,
okay.
You know, in my eyes, and so I'm very critical of them. I've been trying to get them for years to take the game up because I do love it, and yes, I don't find near the time that I wish I would, but I do still play. I love to play. I've given up the tournament circuit several years ago. The body breaks down when you have to play 4 or 5 singles matches in a couple of days, but I do still just love to play for fun.
Were you a varsity player at K-State?
Well, yes. After my senior year in basketball, I decided to go out for the tennis team. It was just kind of a, you know, I thought, well, this would be fun. I'm done with basketball. So I did play my senior year on the team at Kansas State, yes.
And how'd that go?
Well, I was an All-American. I did not make the All-American team, and the truth is, okay, you want to know the whole tennis story?
Sure, please.
I learned to play tennis in college, okay? Bjorn Borg, I fell in love with Bjorn Borg, and I decided I wanted to play like that. So I just tried to imitate him, and I practiced for 3 years, and then I thought, you know what, maybe I can make this team, and I made the team, but the truth be told, I was not a great college tennis player because you better play more than 3 years before you get on it. So I played in a couple Big 8, what's now the Big 12 matches, and again, I didn't make All-American, and I certainly did not make All-League or All-Anything. But it was a great experience, and I got a lot better from that point on, and now I'm on the way down. I'm getting worse as years go by.
Were you shut out?
Well, I don't think we need to go into records. I think why are we even talking about that?
Because Ricardo asked. And I brought up more questions for me.
Thank you, Ricardo, and thank you for...
I think we got the answer.
It was a tough year. It was a tough year, you know.
We all have them.
Yeah,
we all have
for sure.
This is the Fast Track with Tim Jankovich. We're going to talk more SMU basketball. Is that okay?
That would be better, much better.
We'll talk some more SMU basketball as we'll look ahead to this week's 2 conference games. That's coming up next here on the Fast Track with Tim Jankovich.
Hey, college football fans, you already know that we live in one of the great sports cities in the country. And folks here know the best place to watch the game in the Metroplex is at Humperdinck's, Dallas's original sports restaurant and brewery. At Humperdinck's, they know how to do football. Join the fun in Addison, Arlington on Northwest Highway, or at the home of the Mustangs, Humperdinck's on Greenville Avenue, where they've been SMU proud for 40 years and counting. Great burgers, ribs, steaks, and more. They're serving food every night till 1:30 a.m. Check them out online at humperdinks.com.
This isn't going to work. No matter what we say, some people still drive drunk. But we're Budweiser. Giving a damn is what we do. So, if you think it's okay to drive drunk, if you think it's something that's debatable, or you just simply don't care, this Bud is not for you. Give a damn. Don't drive drunk. Enjoy responsibly. Budweiser Beer, Anheuser-Busch, St. Louis, Missouri.
Your neighbors get a new car. You get a better car. They went to a dealership. You went to Credit Union of Texas. Use the money you save financing with CUTX to buy something awesome, like a swimming pool full of money. Your neighbors don't have a swimming pool full of money. Now the Joneses are keeping up with you. Experience more victory at CUTX.org. Loans are subject to credit approval. Federally insured by NCUA.
When it comes to your signage needs, trust the experts at Fast Signs North Central. With more than 50 years of knowledge, Fast Signs North Central will help provide you with a true turnkey experience. From branding and design work to complete production and installation, let Fast Signs North Central make your vision a reality by calling 214-890-4444 or find them online at fastsigns.com/11. Fast Signs North Central. More than fast, more than signs.
Are you serving or have served our country? SMU's Lyle School of Engineering offers master's programs and tuition reductions for military personnel across the globe. For veterans and those in the uniformed services of the U.S., our distance education programs provide a way to help engineer our nation's future. It's just one way SMU is saying thank you to those who protect and serve our country. Check it out at lyle.smu.edu.
There are Mustangs fans. And then there are Mustangs super fans who pony up with an official SMU toll tag. That's because nothing says hail to the red and blue everywhere you drive like an NTTA SMU toll tag. Just $19.99. To get yours, stop by SMU Parking and ID Services or any toll tag store location. The SMU toll tag from North Texas Tollway Authority. Get there smarter.
Welcome back here to the Fast Track with Tim Jankovich. I'm Rich Phillips with you every Monday night, 7 to 8 here at Humperdinck's in Dallas. We're going to look ahead for the two games this week, brought to you by the Cox School of Business, offering the new Fast Track one-year MBA designed to launch your career in just 12 months. Visit coxgrad.com for more information. Two games this week, both at home in conference play. Wednesday night against Temple. That is an 8 o'clock start at Moody Coliseum. It's also on CBS Sports. And then Saturday afternoon at 4 o'clock at Moody as well against South Florida. That is on ESPN News. Both of them on 770 KAAM as well. First, let's start off with Temple. You guys still have a little bit stuck in your craw about them after last year?
Maybe not a little, maybe a lot.
Yeah?
Maybe a lot.
We were, of course, 18-0 going into Philadelphia last year in a blizzard, no less, and the game was delayed one day to a Sunday afternoon. Not much of a crowd there, and we didn't put on a great show that afternoon either, and that ended the 18-game start to the season.
It did, and then they won the league by one game, correct?
Yep. Yes.
If I'm not mistaken, and we only, the schedule in our league, we play everyone twice except two teams, and just as luck or bad luck would have it, we did not have them at our place last year. So Temple has not been here for a couple of years.
So that one does still stick with the guys.
It does.
With you a little bit, huh?
Yes, a little bit. Yes.
Well, they are coming off of back-to-back losses to start conference play. They've started with a real tough schedule in conference too. They hosted Cincinnati last week and lost, and then Central Florida they were at on Saturday afternoon, and I was hearing about this from people on our trip back the other day. An 11-point first half. What happened in the first half to them?
Well, first of all, let's go back. Temple, let's just talk about the program in general.
Sure.
This might surprise people, but Temple is one of the winningest basketball programs in college basketball history. I forget what number they are, but they're up there in the top 10, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
So it's an incredible tradition and, just a really proud program. And then this year, if you remember, they did what I think no one else has done, if I'm not mistaken. They beat Florida State and they beat West Virginia.
Mm-hmm.
So when we saw those scores pop up, obviously we weren't expecting Temple to be, what appeared at that time to be a, top 10, 15 team. You'd almost have to be to do that back-to-back. But as you mentioned, they had a really, really tough start. Cincinnati at home. Cincinnati's a great team this year. And Central Florida is a very, very, very dangerous, scary team, and part of the reason they have a 7'6" center who can really play. And, when you've got somebody 7'6" anchored at the basket, you basically draw a line of, I'm going to guess 9 or 10 feet and you're saying that no one will score here the entire game within 9 or 10 feet, so you better be hitting your outside shots, and obviously they had one of those days. They are, if you look at statistics, Temple's a really good shooting team. They just had one of those days, and the bad news for us is they're coming off 2 losses, so I'd rather play somebody off of 2 wins than 2 losses any day of the week, particularly a program that has had the success that Temple has. So we got a little bit of the wounded animal coming in here, and we're going to be in for a dogfight for sure.
What is it most about the style of the play they have that worries you on Wednesday?
There are a number of guys that can score. I guess always look at that. It's easier to play, in my opinion, teams that maybe only have 1 or 2 key guys and maybe don't have a lot of shooters that can spread the floor. In their case, they've got a number of very good outside shooters, including their 4-man, and I think the 4 position is a big key in basketball, college, high school, professional. And if you have the luxury of having what I would call, or people call, a stretch 4, meaning someone that can then hit 3-point shots from the 4 position, where you play 4 guards, what that does to me is makes for a bigger floor. It stretches the floor defensively. If you have very few guys that can shoot the ball, you can really compact your defense. So with them, they have a number of guys that can stretch you, and so that means on an individual man-to-man basis, you're going to have to contain the ball a little bit more than you would have to against a team that doesn't shoot it as well.
And then Saturday afternoon, South Florida comes in. Right now they've been off to a tough start at 6-7, but obviously league play, anything can happen. And we know a couple years ago went down there to Tampa and lost. So what do you look for from South Florida on Saturday afternoon?
I don't know much about them. I saw them on film. What was it, the East Carolina game? I think the East Carolina had played South Florida, right? And so I'd watched them a little bit, but I don't do a very good job. I just really trying to concentrate on one. So truth be told, I don't know that much about them. They look big on film. I know they've been big in the past. They look big. We're not big, so that'll be something we have to negate. But we have played some very big teams, and we've been able to, to manage with that.
And again, those 2 games coming up Wednesday night, 8 o'clock, SMU and Temple at Moody Coliseum. Saturday afternoon, 4 o'clock, SMU and South Florida. And limited tickets remain at 214-SMU-GAME or SMUMustangs.com. We're wrapping things up here on the Fast Track with Tim Jankovich, and we'll look for a couple of those keys to success and talk about the success at home. That's coming up next here on the Fast Track with Tim Jankovich.
Are you really into food? I mean, really into food? Do you slice your own bacon? Do you have a favorite squash? Do you know what truffles taste like? Can you spell bouillabaisse? Does the phrase sauce packet make you sad? When I say cheese, do you smile? Can you use udon in a sentence other than udon stop cooking? Have you ever read a cookbook and thought, now this would make a good movie? Do you like chicken piccata? Getting caught in lo mein? Are you really into food? If the answer's yes, Central Market awaits. With handmade sausages, an on-site bakery, acres of veggies, and aisles of experts, this is where you get consumed by food. Iceberg lettuce, Titanic shrimp, angel hair, and devil's food. From juicy white cherries to black molasses, Central Market is ripe with succulent samples and fresh perspective. Fill a basket with your favorites and fill your head with ideas. Central Market, for those really into food. Visit our Dallas, Plano, Fort Worth, or South Lake locations.
Highland Park and Preston Hollow Emergency Room, the official ER of SMU, and your neighborhood no-wait ER. With 2 facilities conveniently located near you, we're able to provide the Dallas area with upscale, quality care for all your emergency needs, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Visit HighlandParkER.com for more information. Highland Park and Preston Hollow ER. Pony up.
Hey, college football fans, you already know that we live in one of the great sports cities in the country. And folks here know the best place to watch the game in the Metroplex is at Humperdinck's, Dallas's original sports restaurant and brewery. At Humperdinck's, they know how to do football. Join the fun in Addison, Arlington on Northwest Highway, or at the home of the Mustangs, Humperdinck's on Greenville Avenue, where they've been SMU proud for 40 years and counting. Great burgers, ribs, steaks, and more. They're serving food every night till 1:30 a.m. Check them out online at Humperdinks.com.
I drive 310 miles one way just so I can have Sewell service my vehicle because I trust them.
What could possibly make people behave this way?
I go over there sometimes just to hang out.
A manner of customer service you'll find at no other dealership.
You can't beat the service anywhere else.
I don't know what my next car will be, but it will be a Sewell.
Sewell Cadillac, a proud supporter of the SMU Mustangs. Visit us at SewellCadillac.com. Sewell, obsessed with service since 1911.
Nothing works up an appetite more than a nail-biting, on the edge of your seat, fan-roaring Mustang basketball game. So after we swish that buzzer-beating shot, swing by Ruth's Chris for our 3-course menu, starting at just $44.95. Enjoy a complete meal that includes a starter, delicious entree, personal side dish, and, of course, some decadent dessert. Eat like a winner tonight and make your Ruth's reservation at our North Dallas location or in our new spot in Uptown at Cedar Springs and Harwood.
It's our final segment tonight of the Fast Track with Tim Jankovich. I am Rich Phillips. The Fast Track is delivered by Nissan. A win for your team is a win for you, too. There's nothing quite like it except driving a Nissan. Shop ChooseNissan.com today and take on game day. Nissan, a proud sponsor of college athletics, innovation that excites. And we are going to be here for the next 9 weeks after tonight here, 7 to 8 at Humperdinck's on Greenville. And thanks again to the crowd who came out tonight.
Absolutely.
It's a holiday.
Thank you.
New Year's Eve officially, or New Year's Day officially celebrated today. Great crowd. Lots of staff out here, too. Glad to see you guys. Come back next week again, Monday night from 7 to 8. We will have the show here each week with Coach Jankovich and myself. And this week, SMU getting ready to play Temple. And on Wednesday night at 8 o'clock, South Florida Saturday afternoon at 4 o'clock, both at Moody Coliseum. A place where so far you are 9-0 this season. And since the start of the 14-15 season, 41-3 is the team's record at Moody Coliseum. You shook your head there. That surprised you?
I didn't know exactly the number, but I know it is a great place to play. Our crowd has become fantastic, and there was the beginning of the year they rated crowds in everybody's league, and we were rated the #1 toughest home court in our conference, which is saying a lot when you're talking about the likes of Connecticut and Cincinnati and Memphis and people like that who've had incredible basketball tradition for years and years and years, and they rank us as the toughest home court in our league. And so very proud to represent, the people that come and Moody Coliseum. It's been amazing.
So the crowd's loud both ways, obviously. They're loud constantly. It can make it hard to hear, but is it just you feel that they're behind you, a different sense you have when it's your home crowd that's cheering for you?
It's funny. Obviously, it gives everyone energy.
Sure.
When you play at home, whether it's here in Dallas or everybody's home court, you just look at the statistics, and the home court is a huge advantage. And what's always baffled me is I get it when you're at a place like Moody that it's sold out, it's loud, it's the fans are right on top of you. I can see where that really makes a difference. But if you look across the country, there's a lot of people that are not as lucky as we are, and they don't have great crowds, and yet they still win at home. And I can't figure out. I can't figure out what the big deal is, why you can, win at home without that much energy in a building. And it's hard to believe that just the comfort of playing on this court, because I know as a player, the court is a court. Once the game starts, the rims are the same, and it's not that big a deal. So it's very interesting to me why home teams win far more anyway. But it's not surprising that it is very difficult to come to Dallas and come to Moody and win here.
And obviously, you saw it the first year you were here before the building was renovated and everything, and it was a little bit smaller crowds. Obviously, it's a little bit smaller crowds. A little bit smaller.
I would say a lot smaller.
You didn't see it before you were here, okay? But it's a lot more fun, I would think, as a coach and as a player to come out in front of a group like that. And even I would think on the road it's more fun to come out because, like you said, the energy that's just brought into the building.
Well, as players or coaches, you want to be in a building that's packed. You just do. I don't care whether you're on the road or you're at home. The more energy, the better. I love it, even to go on the road, in the best environments. That's the funnest. But for us, the old Moody was it needed a paint job.
Yes.
It needed some things when we got there, and it was like this to me. And of course, we went out to Garland, and we did the bus ride out to Garland, and I don't know, 700 people came, and God love every one of you that came and all that. But it was like the Wizard of Oz, which I've always loved. I'm from Kansas, and I've always loved the Wizard of Oz. And it starts out in black and white, as you remember, and then all of a sudden, I forget what land that's called, but and it turns to color, right? It just all turns to color, and that's what I felt like happened in our first game when we played Connecticut when they opened the new building, the new Moody. It was like we went from black and white to color, and it's never gone back, and hopefully it won't.
Hopefully it won't. We'll see 2 more games at home this week. Wednesday, 8 o'clock against Temple. Saturday afternoon at 4 o'clock against South Florida. 8-game winning streak. We hope to be back here next Monday night talking about 10, right?
That would be great. I hope so.
All right, that's Tim Jankovich, the head
you.
coach of the SMU Mustangs. I am Rich Phillips. Thanks again to everybody who turned out here tonight. Humperdinks on Greenville and Dallas will be back here next Monday night from 7 till 8. Thanks to Tom back in the KAAM studios as well. And Happy New Year, everybody. We'll see you next week here for the Fast Track with Tim Jankovich.
From Learfield on the Mustang Sports Network, live from Humperdinks on Greenville Avenue, the Fast Track with Tim Jankovich has been brought to you by Nissan, proud supporter of college athletics. Shop ChooseNissan.com. Innovation that excites. Albertsons and Tom Thumb, proud sponsors of SMU Athletics. Credit Union of Texas. Be a part of something unexpected. CUTX.org. Experience more. NTTA. Save money on North Texas toll roads with an SMU toll tag. And by Humperdinks on Greenville Avenue with daily food and drink specials. Join the MVP Club today. The preceding has been a Learfield presentation on the Mustang Sports Network.